2017 with my first property. Oh, thank you. And became a realtor in 2019. So I wouldn't have to go through a realtor, have to go through a middleman to get the deals off the MLS. So today I'm gonna just be talking about how to get started in real estate. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Copy. All right. Let me know if if y'all can see my screen or not.
It just says you're sharing. It's up.
Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Awesome. That's great. So I know my computer, sometimes my connection goes in and out, so bear with me if it does. I'll be back. But let's talk about real estate investing as a new investor. Let's go to the slide. Here we go. So a lot of this presentation, a lot of this information is coming from the Billionaire Real Estate Investor. If you haven't read it, I suggest it. It's a good book. One of the first books I read, well, after Rich Dad Poor Dad, that is. Rich Dad Poor Dad got me interested in investing and building assets. And then I read Millionaire Real Estate Investor because I want to learn more about real estate. All right. Some of the high level stuff I'm gonna just go through. A lot of other people on the board can tell you more about leveraging and have tools and programs that'll get you into for hard money and for mortgages and stuff like that. So like I said, my name is Jamal Adams. I'm a realtor with Vincasa Realty. Became a realtor in 2019. I currently own 3 rental properties. Bought my first in 2007 on the east side of Detroit. Then I bought a tax lien property in 2018 on the west side of Detroit. That was a bad buy, but that happens, right? The first one was a good buy, so I had to offset it. And then I got a third property in 2019 with a tenant that was already in the property. I am a utility engineer by trade. I got my bachelor's in electrical engineering, my master's of science in alternative energy technology. Worked at DTE Energy, which is a local utility out here in Michigan, and also worked at ITC, which is a transmission company that's based not only in Michigan, but in several other Midwest states, Iowa, Minnesota, and they also have assets in Southwest United States. So, and me, born and raised in Detroit, so that's why I invest mostly in Detroit. All right, so financial wealth, the unearned income to finance your life mission without having to work. That's what we are looking for. So here are some myth understandings between you and financial wealth. So some of the personal myths: I don't need to be an investor. My job will take care of me and my financial wealth. You do need to be an investor, right? So part of something that a lot of people don't know is that, you know, even if you relying on a pension plan, that pension, they actually invest that money. That's how they pay you, right? And you know, if they're investing that money and making money off of it, you're not getting 100% of that profit, right? So you're only getting a portion of the profits they're making. So why don't you cut out the middleman and invest yourself? Not only do they invest in stocks and businesses themselves, they also invest in real estate. Let's see. You know, I don't need or want to be financially wealthy. I'm just happy with what I have. You know, you may not know what's out there, right? You know, that's how I originally thought, like, I'm just good. I just work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. I'm good with that, and I retire how I want to retire. But then stuff happened at work, and it's like, I don't know how long I can work for somebody. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you keep an open mind. You know, some people just might have a negative attitude, like, I just can't do it. You know, you don't know what you can do until you try. So, you know, take that first step, ask questions, and that's why y'all are all here, right? To learn more with us, and we're all going to get there together. Let's see, some investing myths. Investing is complicated. It's only as complicated as you make it. Everybody knows real estate. We can feel it, touch it. It's easy to understand, although it's a larger barrier to entry than something like stocks. But we can make it as simple as we want to. Everybody, this is not an earn your leisure university meeting, but I'm pretty sure a majority of us have seen watch Market Monday, and we know what Ian say: 2 tech, 2 index, no stress, right? So we can make it real simple, or we can make it real hard and try to figure out options and try to trade with the market and stuff like that. So we can make it as complicated as you want to in stocks and real estate investing. It says the best investments require knowledge most people don't have. You may not know now, but you can always learn. That's fine. Investing is risky. I'll lose money. Investment is not by definition risky, right? There are risks to everything you do in life, but there is a process to reduce those risks so you don't lose money, or when you do lose, is way, way, way fewer losses than there are wins. You get way more wins than losses, right? Investors are able to time the market. There are always investments out there, right? So as long as you follow your process, you always gonna come up with an investment. And I think 4 and 5 go together like that. All good investments are taken. There's always an investment out there. Sometimes it may not be as obvious. We're gonna have to cultivate it, right? Work it out. So this is talk about discovering your big why, understanding why exactly you want to be a real estate investor. I know for me, like I said, I was working and I realized, this 9-to-5 thing ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna need a faster way to retire because I'm not trying to do this 9-to-5 for the rest of my life, right? Then let's go down into millionaire mindset, right? So now we got big goals, big models, and big habits, right? So we got goals, models, and habits. But if you want to be a millionaire, you need big goals, big models, and big habits, right? So that's that. Oops. Talk about the power of leverage. Let's see, real property. Yes, yep. So this is talking about how you can leverage your money. You don't need to buy a real estate. That's one of the beauties about real estate, right? You can leverage your money to buy bigger properties. If you got $100,000 property, you don't need $100,000 to buy that property. You can put 20% down, 20K, and now you own $100,000 property, right? That's something you can't do with stocks, right? You can't you can't buy $100,000 worth of stocks and get a mortgage on it and be able to control that, right? You can do it. You can do something similar with options, but it's only lasts for so long, right? So the power of leverage. Here's an example. Like we said, we could do I use $100,000 and 20% down, but also you could do $100,000 and only put 5% down, depending on what type of funding you have. All right, so I like this visual for how money works, right? So we got I don't know if y'all can see my mouse, but the top half, the blue, is basically an investor. So investors, they put most of their money into capital, building their capital up and building to get cash flow, right? So they invest in assets, which increases their net worth, their capital, which gives them cash flow, which gives them cash, and then they use that cash to consume. So majority of everybody else, they actually consume first, right? The money comes in and goes straight to bills. It goes straight to got to pay for a house, got to pay for diapers. In my case, I got kids. They need diapers, they need food. So my money goes straight. My money goes straight to consuming, and then I go to put it. Then I put it in cash. I put it in a savings account, right? And then I take a little bit of money and try to get some cash flow from it, right? Or invested in some stocks, right? And get a little capital, right? So it's inverted, right? We need to reverse this to do the what investors do. So here's another visual just showing how if you put, like in my example earlier, put 20% down, that means we got 80% worth of debt. So that red part here is the debt in the first rectangle. Then we got a little bit of investment coming from we got a little bit of money from our cash flow, and then we got some equity. The 20% equity we already got down into it, right? As we keep going, our investment continues to bring down the debt, and we get more and more equity. Here we go. It's now just breaking it down, just looking into that investment piece here. Now we're looking at our cash flow. So as our cash flow continues to go, it pays down our debt service, our vacancies, and our rent expenses. They pretty much stay the same. But the debt service is basically the loan. So the loan gets smaller and smaller until you just got cash flow and vacancy and expenses, right? Buy it right, pay it down, pay it off. So why do people invest in real estate, right? So just some of the stuff we talked about, right? So it's less money out of pocket for an investment. Again, you got $100,000 investment, you can put $20,000 down, and you can now control that property. That is your investment, right? They got tax write-offs. We got grow net worth through equity, which we were talking about before. Get cash flow. Cash flow pays down the loan. Now you building more equity, right? Your asset is paying for itself and increasing your net worth. We got college education savings and many more reasons. So just to highlight some of the tax write-offs. So you got operating expenses, you got mortgage insurance, you got financing costs, miscellaneous closing costs, depreciation, capital improvement, personal properties, maintenance expenses. So I don't know if you heard that. That was my son telling me it's time for dinner. So, but let's see. I just looking at the notes, see if there was any questions now. Let me know if there's any questions, if anybody need me to expound on anything. But now I'm just basically tell you about my journey, right? So the hard truth is, like I said before, I realized that I'm not gonna be able to be as happy or fulfilled in my 9-to-5 as I thought I once was, right? You know, we learned from our parents, get out there, work 30 years, and then retire and you Gucci, right? So that was my goal. And then I'm going through work and I'm working hard and I'm applying myself. And then I'm realizing that, you know, even though I'm working hard on applying myself, that I tried for a supervisor position and they told me I didn't get the position because I wasn't qualified for the position, right? So what I did was I was a relay applications and maintenance engineer. So I basically made sure that the relay program, the maintenance program was on schedule. Any capital work that was needed, I made sure that that work got scheduled, and then I made sure also that the technicians were up to date on their training and made sure everything, the technicians that went out there and actually worked on the relays, I made sure they were all set, had everything, all the tools they need for their job, and also that they had I made sure the relay management, the relay book was up to date. So I was going to be a relay supervisor because that was part of my job, right? The only thing I wasn't doing was writing, basically signing off on timesheets and going to all the meetings and stuff. But the person that interviewed me told me that a technician was better suited for relay supervision because they knew the job better, you know. And I was like, okay, I was young. I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. They do know the job better. But then come to find out, another person that was sitting in the board who was interviewing me, he didn't even look like he wanted to be there. I was like, what's going on with him? Talked to him later. He was like, they did you wrong, man. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, you didn't have a chance. And it's like, man, I'm sitting up here playing this rat race and like my future is dependent on somebody else and there's really nothing I can do. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to get into real estate. And because now it's like, well, now it's more dependent on me. I can't really blame nobody else if I don't go out there and speak to people or, you know, make the calls I need to make. You know, it's all on me, right? So that's the hard truth I learned. So my first step was like, I was trying to get a group like-minded individuals like, hey, everybody, I want to get into real estate. Let's all get into real estate together, you know? And, you know, that didn't pan out well. You know, there's a lot of, oh yeah. And then by the time you get first you get like 20 people that's interested, and then by the time let's all meet together, it's about 5 people, right? So that didn't end up well, but the 5 people we did end up going in on the first property, right? So that's the one I actually found through a wholesaler. Just going to different meetings. I went to different meetups and different groups around Michigan, and found my first property, bought that one, fixed that up. Then before the first one was even finished, I got the second property on the auction, a tax lien auction. It was not the right property. I was looking at one property and I thought, got the address wrong for it. So then I ended up buying a different property and I was like, oh, this is not the one I wanted, but I got that one, which I still need to fix up. And then I got my third property off the MLS where it was like, oh, this is $30,000 house. They already got a tenant in there paying mortgage. Like, how bad can it be? If I got to evict a tenant, I evict a tenant. I bought it with a mortgage, put $6,000 down. And yeah, I did end up having to evict a tenant, but hey, I still think it was a good investment. Property management. So I did end up getting property managers for my these 2 properties that were actually tenant ready. And she ended up low key being a scam artist, right? So her name is Crystal Davis with a K. If you want to see some crazy stuff, look up Crystal Davis in Detroit, Michigan, right? So rent was coming in fine, and then all of a sudden I'm not able to get in contact with her. So I had to go talk to the tenants in the properties, and they were upset because they was dealing with her. So I'm working through that now, actually building those relationships. And currently that's where we are currently, right? So that's my investment story. All right. So here are pretty much your options for residential real estate investor, right? Anything over 4 units is considered commercial. Anything 4 units and under is residential, and you can use a residential loan to buy a 4-unit complex. You can use an FHA loan to buy a 4-unit complex, which is pretty awesome. So we got condominium, single families, duplexes. We also got triplexes, which isn't mentioned here, and fourplex units. Fourplex, which is a 4-unit. So here's some of the pros and cons with condominium. One thing I like about it is, you don't have a roof, you don't have too many like electrical. Like a lot of your electrical, you don't got foundation issues, you don't have roof issues, you don't got foundation issues you have to worry about, because all you got to do is worry about that one unit, whatever that unit is, right? Now the con is the HOA fees. A lot of HOA fees are high enough where it's significant enough where it's like, ugh, I'm not gonna make enough money. I'm not gonna be able to cash flow enough money to buy this condo. An option would be to maybe lease option condo. We can talk more about that later though. Here's the single family unit pros and cons. You do got a roof to worry about, you do got foundation problems to worry about, but houses are easy to resell. You get more appreciation because it's more people buying single family homes, and more people are willing to pay more for a single family home. Now you got duplexes. Great thing about duplexes compared to both condos and single family homes is you got 2, right? So one isn't working, operating, then you got another one that's operating, right? So it is less risk in that you're not dependent on one property or one unit. Now again, fourplex, I throw threeplex and fourplex in a similar category. So more so like the duplexes, if one goes down, in the case of a 4-unit, you got 3 more doors that are still operating. So that's great. Or 2 more doors in case of a triplex. But it is more upkeep and it is higher tenant damage because of the turnover. So it's higher turnover in multifamily properties opposed to single family properties. All right, what to buy? So what we got to know for how to find properties, we got to know value, we got to find the deal, and then we got to make the deal. So know your value. What you need to do is identify your market. What I originally thought was, we got Detroit, which is in Wayne County. Then we got 2 other counties touching Wayne County, Macomb and Oakland County to the north of Wayne County. So at first I was like, anything in the Tri-County area I want to know about, right? I'm gonna have to look up the number, but that's a lot of houses to try to analyze in different markets with different things going on, right? In Macomb County, you got a lot more stricter rent rules than you do in Detroit, and again, that's different in Oakland County, right? So that's something, I was overwhelmed. And when you get too much information, you'll have analysis paralysis, where I'm just like, I don't know what deal to look at, right? So first thing first, I just said, okay, fine, forget it. I'm gonna focus on a certain area, right? So what I did was focus on the zip code. I did 48219. If you've heard me before talk about Detroit, I say 48219 just because I had to focus on one area code, one zip code, and that was my home. So I grew up in 48219. So I'm familiar with the market, and I'm familiar with the homes first, and then as I learned more about real estate, I became familiar with the property values in that zip code. So that's what I say. The first thing you should do is identify your market, break it down to a space that is doable for you. Now you gotta, once you figure out where you want to, sorry about that. Once you figure out where you want to invest, now you got to compare your sold properties, right? So the easiest way to do it is to get a realtor to do it, right? Well, most realtors are going to want some money for that, right? Because it's going to take time to do that. So if you want to do it yourself, you can go to Zillow or you go to public records, look up the government records to pull up sold properties to get an idea of how, what the property values are. So I'm gonna take y'all off real quick just to give you an example. Can y'all see my screen here?
Still look like it's still on the same one. Oh, it's changing now.
Change now, okay. Next time I do this, I'm gonna just take pictures. So what I'm gonna do is,
yeah, it's still black right now.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is it's basically pull up Zillow, and I think we're all familiar with Zillow, going to look up properties. So we look at active properties, but you also can look at properties that have that are sold too, or that have sold recently. So that's what you want to do. Look up properties that have sold recently, and then see what the price they sold for, and then also
Jamal, you know you're not sharing, right?
Yeah, I'm just talking through it. Yeah,
oh, okay, okay.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just talking like that's what I'm about to show you guys. I know it's not sharing yet, but let's see. Guys, see anything?
Nope, not yet.
You should probably stop your share and then start over so to refresh.
Yeah, I'm about to stop it and then restart it. There we go. Good idea, man.
It's up now. Zillow is up. Yep.
Okay, good. Great. All right. So I think we're all familiar with Zillow. Type in the city, and then you got the for sale here. If you click on for sale, you can look up sold. Now that'll give you all your sold properties. In the area. So you don't get everything, right? You don't get everything that you would get if you are on MLS as a realtor get, but you get some good stuff, right? So you got here like this 155, this property on Outer Drive sold for $155,000. So then you can go to this property. It's like, all right, well, let me take a look at this property. So the thing is, you might not always get pictures for every property though. So that's the downside. Yes, it looks like the picture is probably not getting any pictures for this property. Yep. So you don't have any photos for this property, but you will go through the photos, compare that property, see exactly what the state of the property is, see what work needs to be done, if it need a roof or not. So looking at this picture, this property looks good. Roof looks good from this picture. Lawn is manicured. So I'm assuming that the inside of the home is in pretty good shape. So this after repair value, $155,000 would be like I said, the after repair value. So no repairs needed in this case. Let's see. I'll go back to my slide again. Let me stop share. And do another share. All right. Can y'all see my presentation?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So I'm not gonna do that again because it took too long. So yeah, you would look up a different couple of homes. I'll say about 3 or 4, and then throw them in like a Google Sheets, and then do an average of the sold prices, and that'll give you an idea of what houses are selling for in that area. But again, I think the best way to do it is to work with a realtor. They got the access to the MLS, and they should know properly how to do a market analysis. But that's how you understand the value of homes in your area. All right, now on the finding opportunity. These are some of the different places. What you're gonna look for is distressed property owner. So what's a distressed property owner? That is somebody that needs to sell their home, right? So they need to sell their home for, as a landlord, they're tired of being a landlord. So I don't want to run this property no more. I'm tired of it. I got another investment, and I need this money so I can invest in this other investment, right? So that's a great opportunity for you. You check it out. You know the value of the area, and you look at you said, oh, I know the value of the home. This is the home I'm looking for. I like this home. I was looking for, I want 3 or more beds, right? Because I want a family to stay in there, because families usually stay in there longer. Like my first property, they don't want to leave. They're fine with it, and they actually want to buy the house from me. So if they want to buy it outright, we can work out that. Or if they want to, but they want to do a rent to own, that's what they mentioned, a rent to own. So I'll double check just to make sure they still want to do that. But we're going to work out a rent to own situation, right? I don't want to let it go. It's a great house, and I got it for a great deal. But part of my goal too is to increase home ownership in Black and brown communities. So it's like, I have to go ahead and let this go and find my other baby, so I can, so somebody else can, and so I can increase wealth in my community, right? So but you're looking for maybe people that are divorced. They need to get out their house and they need to sell it quick, right? People moving out of town, moving out of state, you know, because they need to got a new job, or they may have something else going on where they need to leave quick, right? So you can find properties like this. You can find people like this on Facebook in the different marketplaces. You know, just go to Facebook Marketplace, look at people who's trying to sell their home. Zillow. You can find go to just like we went to sold. You can select for sale and look for sale by owners. You can also look for rents, like Zillow homes for rent, because you may find a distressed landlord, like they're tired of flipping these properties and they are just ready to be done. They're tired of turnovers, right? So you're like, I'll take that off your hands, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to provide a solution, create a win-win situation. There could be listings like that on the MLS, on Craigslist. You want to look for foreclosures, right? So you can look at foreclosures on Zillow. You can look up foreclosures on your county website. So I know we got tax liens, sheriff sales. There are foreclosures at sheriff sales, auction.com. And then also other investors, right? So just like we said, that landlord might be tired of his investment. It may be other investors that are tired of their investments. Like, you know, Antonio might have a lien against this property, but he want to take that money and go somewhere else. So he'll sell you that lien against the property, right? So you can buy property like this, or you can buy liens like this, right? You can buy notes like this. So then what you want to do, once you find a nice property, you want to go ahead and analyze that property and see what work needs to be done. So first things first, you know, the after repair value. We already know that because we did our research and we know our area and we know what homes sell for in our area. So we know the after repair value. Now we got to identify what repairs are needed, right? So you got your major repairs like roof, foundation, and your mechanicals. So I saw somewhere where it's like, I do one of the three. If you got a roof problem, I take it. But as long as you don't have a roof mechanical or a roof foundation problem, then we're good, right? So I like that idea. Like, okay, I deal with a roof problem if the mechanicals and the foundation is good, or I deal with a foundation problem if the roof and the mechanicals is good, right? So, but I got to know what the solution is for the foundation, right? So I know I had a foundation problem here in my house, and they put braces in the wall, and they said that's good. So I was like, okay. So if I know the wall is bowing a little bit, I may need to put the braces in there to reinforce the foundation, which I'm fine with, as long as the roof is good and the mechanicals are good, right? So figure out what needs to be done, paint, if you need to do any renovations, take out any kitchens, take out any bathroom stuff, install that stuff, right? And then you get an estimate for the repairs. So it's like, well, how do I estimate repairs? You're gonna have to find a contractor, right? Or find another investor and figure out what these repairs look like, right? So you could go to Home Depot and find out how much paint is, how much shingles are, and all this other stuff to find out exactly how much it costs for the materials. But which is going to be hard to try to figure out is how much does the labor cost, right? So I just know from replacing my roof, depending on the size of the home, it's going to cost me like $10,000 to do like a 800 square foot home, right? And that's because my first investment property, I did half the roof and that cost me $5,000. So we want to do the whole roof, that's going to cost me $10,000. Cost me another couple grand to paint all the rooms in the house. So it was about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms, and then that's living room, family room, and the bedrooms, hallways, and then basement too, right? So some of that stuff where I basically just had to talk to the contractors, like send me a quote. Got a couple different contractors out there to send me to write up a quote. And again, it was like, look, I don't want to waste your time. I might not go with you. I really just need to figure out what your price is. So if it costs $50 of your time to go out there and quote me a price, here's $50, here $100, you know, that way it's gonna save me. I pay that $50, that $100 up front, so I won't have to overpay thousands of dollars later, right? For a mistake where I could have easily figured that out for a lot less money up front, right? Like insurance, right? So, and then you use your then you want to calculate what the price, your offer price is. So now we're gonna use the 70% or 80% rule, depending on who you are. So to be conservative, you would go with the 70% rule and say that the ARV times 70% minus repairs is gonna equal your price. So let's take that $100,000 property we had at the beginning of the presentation. So we said we need 70%. We want 30% equity into the property after everything is said and done. So we say $100,000 times 70%, which is $70,000. So that's your price, your base price. I'm willing to, for a $100,000 property, I'm willing to pay $70,000 because I want 30% equity in the property. And then let's say, like I said, like you got to replace a roof, you got to paint, and that's pretty much it. You don't got to do you ain't got to take any kitchen stuff out. You're just gonna paint everything. Cabinets are good enough. You may throw a little paint on the cabinets too, to make it, to spruce them up, paint the floors in the basement, right? The mechanicals look good, so there's nothing you really got to do with the mechanicals. And let's say all that's gonna cost you like 10, 15 grand, right? Let's say 15 grand on the high end. So 70 minus 15 grand is $55,000. That's a max you would pay. $55,000 because you have to put $15,000 in, which will give you to $70,000 and your 30% equity. Now you can say, well, usually that number is for people like wholesalers because that 10% they want to actually have the investor get 20%, so that between that 70 and 80%, in our case, we're talking about $10,000. They're gonna make a profit of $10,000 just by flipping the contract, right? So they just get the homeowner to sell one contract, and then they assign that contract to the investor, right? And then they make the in between, right? Now, if you buying this property for yourself, you can say, well, I'm good with just 20% equity, right? Because all I need to do is put 20% down on this property. So if I'm already at 20% equity, I'm good money, right? So now you just take that $70,000 we had at the beginning, and now it's $80,000. So $100,000 after repair value, 70%, 8 times 80% of that price. I give you $80,000, again, $15,000 in repair. So now the max price you can offer is $65,000. So it's a simple calculation. So you know exactly how much money you can provide or how much you can offer for the property, right? Any questions so far? I don't see anything. Oh, see, recent deceased as the beneficiaries like to sell home. Yep, so that's a good one. Yep, recently deceased people. Yep, they sell their home. You know, my father passed away recently, and I'm dealing with his house, so I got to go through probate. So probate court is another good place to look for properties. You know, somebody else like, I don't want to go through probate. I don't want to deal it. Take this house off my hands, right? So that is another actually good place to find houses too. All right. So now we found the house, know the area, know how much we're willing to pay for the house. Thank you, Sparrow. I appreciate that. Now we gotta make the deal, right? So now we gotta call the owner, talk to the owner. First thing we want to do is find out as much information about the house as we can, right? Get them talking. Tell them about the house, right? What you want to know is why they're selling, right? Why you want to know why they're selling, because you need to determine their level of motivation, right? A person like me, I'm a long-term investor. I got another source of income, right? So I might have a property that I need to work on that I'm not really worried about selling right now. So they'll call me and say, well, I'll offer you, I'll sell, how much you want for my property? I was like, make me a price. How much you willing to sell my property, right? I got to pay taxes on it and stuff, but it don't hurt me enough. I'm not motivated, right? Like I might say some astronomical price, knowing that I got $40,000 worth of property work to do on that property, and the property is only currently valued at 40 grand. So I might say, give me 50 grand, right? I'm not hurting. I'm gonna fix it up and rent it out eventually, right? So I'm not a motivated buyer, or I'm not a motivated seller. So you might want to say thank you for your time, sir. I will keep in contact, and if you ever change your mind, here's my information, right? You know, you probably be wasting your time on somebody like that, right? But if somebody was like, oh, I need to sell fast, I'm moving out of the state, I need this money for X, Y, and Z. You know, unfortunately, I got a call the other day. Somebody needed money because a family member got into some legal trouble. They needed to sell a home real quick to help them out in a bind, right? So it was like, use that number. It's like, look, I don't know what I'm looking at the properties in this area, and what I can offer you. I did the same. The calculation is 80%. 80% of after repair value, and that's not including whatever repairs need to be done, right? So that's like, oh, I'm not liking that number. I was like, well, I understand that, but that's, you know, what I can do for you now, right? You know, get you to help you out. But if that doesn't work for you and you got somebody else, then you know you should go with them, because obviously they can help you out your situation better than I can, right? So, you know, I only try to do win-win deals. Only do what's able in my budget. So, yep, Adrian. I hope I said your name right. Yeah, the recording will be available. But yeah, so you want to determine their level of motivation. You want to figure out how much they want, and it's like, you know, well, how much do you want? It's like, let's say, like I said, probably worth 40 grand. They say something like 60 grand. It's like, okay. So now you know that the property is worth 40 grand, right? So it's like, well, first of all, this is how much the property is worth. And depending on how much work it is, I can only offer you 10 grand for the property, right? It's like, well, you know, they're gonna give you a whole bunch. Oh, that's astronomical. Zillow said my property is worth 100 grand. It's like, well, okay, then sell it to Zillow, right? But you know, you're gonna get a lot of I don't want to say a lot, but you know, you may get somebody that's a little disgruntled and ain't gonna like your number, but it's a part of the job, right? So that's what you want to do. Talk to owners, and then the turnover rate for investment properties, you probably, depending on how good of people you're talking to, maybe 10%. You may be able to get like 1 out of 10 people, depending on how good your sources are. If you got a good lead source, it's going to be higher, but you may get about 1 out of 10 people that's going to want to be able to do your deal, right? So bam, say I'm willing to do your deal. Bam, okay, great. Now you say, okay, when can I come out there and see the property? So next is getting a purchase agreement signed. So you go out there, take pictures, and make sure that the property is in the condition that they said it was. And if it's in the condition they said it was, bam, you in the pocket. Here's the price. Let's get this purchase agreement signed. If it's not if it's not how they said it was, then you say, okay, we're gonna have to renegotiate the price because of X, Y, Z. All these issues are wrong with it. So I know originally I said I could give you 60 grand for the house, but I need, obviously the foundation is messed up. So I'm going to need to take 20 grand off the price that I told you I could get you, right? They might be upset, like, it's like, but sir, you told me this was the only issues, but the foundation wall is bowing, so it's obviously a problem. So I'm going to have to get that fixed, right? So renegotiate the price, come up with a price you guys agree on, and then you get that purchase agreement signed, right? And then you go to the closing table, right? Yeah, bam. Now you're an investment owner, right? So what we did was we found the value of the property. We found the value of the properties in the area, right? First, we defined our area, got the average repair value in the other properties in the area. Then we found an opportunity, you know, using our resources, Zillow and Facebook, MLS, network, friends, you know, everybody, hey, I'm looking for a house, let me know. And then we made a deal, you know, talked to that person, made a deal, and now we got our first investment property. Boom, boom, boom. So how we gonna pay for our first investment property, right? So we got the purchase agreement signed. Now we go to the closing table. Now we gotta pay the money, right? So how we gonna do that? So there are True. Like Michelle said, you definitely got to do your due diligence, which I didn't put here. So you got to make sure you do your due diligence and make sure there are no liens against the property. Make sure if there are any leases, make sure there's a record of all leases. Make sure it's a record of rent rolls. If you do have a property that has a renter in it, you want to do rent rolls, and you want to see the rent actually going into the bank account, right? Because somebody can just do an Excel spreadsheet and say, yeah, here's a rent roll. It's like, no. I need to see it in the bank account, right? So that is very, very true. Thanks, Michelle. Also, now, so you can pay for cash, right? You can use cash. My first property, I actually did what Ant was talking about and used my self-directed IRA. So I rolled over my money from my IRA into self-directed IRA and paid it all cash. Bam. So I own that 100% free and clear. Bam. So that's cash of your own money, right? Not necessarily on my bank account, but my IRA. Cash also includes a private investor. You can call Ant, you can call Tracy and say, hey, I got this property. It's a beautiful property. It's undervalued. I can get it for this and it's worth this. Work with me. Let's make this happen. And then Tracy and Ant are gonna say, yeah, show me the numbers. And the numbers look amazing. And bam, they're gonna give you the money. Or you can do hard money. You can hit up JP. Hey, JP, I got this property. It's real dope. I just need help financing. JP gonna work with you. Gonna look at the property. JP gonna be, bam, you did real good finding this property. And bam, there you go. So all that's considered cash, right? Not necessarily the cash out of your bank account, but as long as somebody has a check, it's considered cash. Or you can mortgage. That's what I did with my third property I bought with the tenant already in there, right? I did a conventional loan. So it was 30 grand. I put down 6 grand. It's actually me and my partner, right? So we split it between us. He put down 3, I put down 3, 6 grand. Now we both got we both have one property, right? Partners on this one property, right? So you can do that. You can do a conventional or you can do an FHA, which will only requires you put 3% down. So you find a nice fourplex. Let's say you can find a $100,000 fourplex and put 3 grand down. Now you got 4 doors. That's about $800. I say in Detroit, that's like $800 a door. Times 4, that'd be $4,200. You already got your money back on that first month's rent, right? Beautiful thing. So now you free and clear. Infinite return. If you don't know about infinite return, we got to look up Ant's old video. Talked about infinite return. But here I see a question up here. What are the contracts for hard money lenders? Oh, okay. So we have somebody on the board that does hard money lending. His name is Jamaal Patterson. I could send you his information. Also, rent roll. Somebody asked about a rent roll. Yep, so just like Sharrall said, a rent roll is an essential document that allows landlords and others to easily view rents that are due and rents that have been collected on an investment property. Tracy, you do hard money? Okay, so Tracy do hard money too, yes. So Tracy do hard money?
I just don't call it hard money, but yeah, it's all the same.
Okay, got you. Yeah, I considered you more of a private investor, but okay then. So
no, I do all kind of non-traditional, any kind of investment properties. I can get them financed, fix and flip, buy and hold, bridge loan, all of that.
Yeah, so yeah, we got Tracy and JP. You can reach out to them. And Ant. Might not be
Antonio has his hand raised.
Oh, he does? Oh, I don't
Yeah, he does.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, I was just gonna add on to the rent roll stuff. So I got a deal going on right now I'm representing the buyer, and there's a duplex, and the leases that they sent us, we have so many questions on the leases. Like the first lease they sent us on one side is a different amount than the second lease they sent us on that same side, talking about I don't know, there's so many questions, like so many red flags with the leases. So it's something called an estoppel certificate. It's usually used for commercial properties. But essentially what it is a document you send to the other side where they get the tenant to sign off saying, what the rent is. Like any little specific question you have, but mostly it's just to verify the things in the lease. Because they could produce any kind of document to you telling you you know, they're getting this much or whatever. They could falsify a document. So it's called an estoppel certificate, and you can just make it up and send to the other side and have the tenant actually sign off on it. It's the accuracy of the information. Sorry, my kids in the background. Estoppel certificate. Just remember that name, that term.
Thank you, Antonio. Is that ESTOPA, estoppel or estoppel?
ESTOPPEL, I think, something like that.
Yeah, okay. Estoppel. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, she put it in the chat.
Yeah, let's see. Estoppel. All right, thank you. So, yep, that is good to know. I'm copying that down. I'll add that to my process. Estoppel certificate. Good to know. Jane Nicole asked what company I had to fix my foundation problem. I want to say it was Michigan Foundations company. I forget the name of the company because they actually so with my house, that was actually with my house, my personal property. They the previous owners, they were actually in a had a signed contract with somebody else, and they saw the foundation issues. And before the FHA lender was like, they had to fix this foundation issue before you moved in. So they had to end up fixing the foundation issue, and then the buyers backed out. So it was Michigan Foundation Systems, I think it was. Which I gotta look it up too, because they gave me the certificate and all that stuff. Foundation Systems of Michigan. There we go. I knew it was something like that. So it's Foundation Systems of Michigan. Let's say, Aunt, tell your wife we flipping houses. That's it. We just flipping houses. All right. So going on, talked about FHA Mortgage Partner. So you can partner with somebody. You can do a partner and y'all both can do all cash, or like I did with my partner, y'all can both go in on a mortgage, put half down or split 3 ways. Got more than one partners, right? And mix and match, right? So, you know, maybe you got the cash and your partner got the credit. So it's like, hey, I'll put the cash down if you put your credit up and we get a mortgage, right? Or vice versa, right? So, or your partner might have the experience and you might have the cash and say, hey, let me use your hard money contact and I'll put the cash up and we'll partner on this deal, right? Or you can just do a deal and say, you can find the property and say, oh, I did everything, I found the property, but I don't want to be a landlord, or I don't want to fix and flip it. I'm gonna just pass this deal on and you can assign that deal to somebody else, right? So it's different ways to do this. You don't have to do it all one way. You can, like I said, mix and match. You can figure it out. Somebody might not have the money, you get the deal and say, well, I'll take the first lien out on the property, and then, you know, you get your money after they fix and flip it, right? So it's different ways you can do it. Let's see. So that's pretty much it. All this stuff goes about, that's just talking about the different mortgages, property management versus self-management. So that's something else. A lot of people say that's a myth that people say, like, you can't make any money if you unless you manage a property yourself. So that's not true, right? As long as you get a good property manager, you know, in my case, I didn't get a good property manager. You know, they take usually they take first month's rent and then they take like 10% of the monthly rent, right? So get you a good property manager. They'll save you the headache. Now it's almost like investing in stocks, right? It's like investing in a REIT. Like, your property manager is running everything. You ain't got to worry about nothing. All you got to do is keep collecting your rent checks and find more properties, right? But you know, you won't know what the day-to-day entails, right? So in my case, I just left everything to my property manager, and my tenants, they didn't even know me. So they was up there like, we didn't know you. She said it was her property. We got all these issues, like, and now we trying to figure out what's going on, right? So now I got to build that relationship up with my tenants and stuff. So something you got to do again. So Your network is your net worth. So we talked about a lot of things that need to go on and a lot of people you need, right? Going down to real estate agents, contractors, wholesalers, mortgage lenders, private investors, hard money lenders, something we didn't talk about, appraisers, inspectors. So it's a whole bunch of people you need a part of your net worth, and not including the bird dog. So people just find houses and say, here's a house, go find the leads for you, family, and it didn't even include family and friends, right? Looking out for properties and stuff for you. So your network is your net worth. So we're talking about some of the next steps for you, Millionaire. I recommend Millionaire real estate investor. Build your network. Talk to a mortgage professional. We got JP, financial professionals. I don't know if we really got a quote unquote financial professional, but hard money lender. You can talk to Tracy, JP, talk to Ant, and let's go to questions. So let's see some questions here. Here's a question. Avery, did you want to unmute yourself and come off mute? If you raise your hand, you can ask it, or I can ask it out loud. It doesn't matter. I'll give you some time to think about that. I'll get you off mute, Michelle.
Hello, good evening. One of the things, and I'm not sure if we can probably have this class on another time, but really having a conversation about how to work with wholesale sellers, not buyers, sellers. I know what wholesale selling is, but actually working with the person who has the deal. Because I've come across some that it has been assigned so many times, they're not even the original person. Right. And so do we know if anyone here has either worked with wholesalers and can teach a class on that?
Okay, then. Yeah, I can. I know that's something I definitely want to, that we've been talking about doing, get a wholesaler out here. So if we can get a wholesaler on here, they can talk about exactly what they look for.
I bought a property from a wholesaler before. What's the question? I'm sorry, I'm occupied.
So no, I just would like to see if we can have a wholesaler, someone who does that angle and working with a wholesaler. Because what I'm finding, like especially in Florida, that many of the wholesalers are not the original. It's been daisy chained down, like they've gotten.
I got you.
Yeah. So just trying to really find out what are some of the pitfalls to look out for. Just kind of making sure you have that understanding. And then I know a lot of wholesalers want cash deals right away, but in this day and time, you can close, especially if you have all your paperwork in time. Like I'm getting ready to close a deal now, it's 2 weeks. So it's, to me, the same as cash.
Yeah, depends on the funding. Yep.
Yeah. So when they say cash deals, does that mean I can't go get a loan, or
you can,
whatever it is?
You can. Yeah, that cash, cash really is like bringing a bag of cash. So I think it's just a figure of, play on words. If they say cash, it means they can get it to you quickly. I do some wholesaling myself, but a lot, and I find that there's a lot of daisy chaining also, because people are now starting to reach out to other wholesalers, and they're helping each other get the deals done, or they'll do JVs. So you'll have more than one that's doing the deal, and they'll split the fees.
Yeah, that's what happened with my deal. It was a wholesaler situation where the wholesaler had it under contract, and he JV with another wholesaler that sent all the property out to his whole list, and I was on the list. So that's how I found out about it. And it was full disclosure. Everything was on the closing disclosure. The title company handled everything, like their fees and everything.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's pretty common because it's getting so competitive now. Instead of wholesalers competing against each other, they just working together to get the deal done.
And I'm okay with that. I just want to know, because I've never purchased from a wholesaler. So I would like to, if we have a chance to have a class that can really speak to what are some of the things that you need to look out for, or the questions that you need to ask to kind of protect my interests.
Okay. Okay.
I'm about to say,
And the
I
second,
know.
I'm sorry. And the second question is actually for you, Tracy. When closing on a deal, because right now I'm buying it in my name, but I immediately want to transfer it to my LLC. Are you, is that normally done right at, because in Florida, it's a title. It's not
Yeah.
attorney in Florida. So with title, can we do that right then? Or do we have to wait a period of time?
So yeah, you can do it right away, but what's the situation is you have a property now and you're gonna refinance it. Tell me again, what's the?
Oh, no, I'm buying a fix and flip. So I'm closing, I'm closing on the 22nd.
So you done the purchase agreement in your personal name already?
Correct.
Okay, and then so you'll let the title company know that you want it deeded into your LLC. Why didn't you buy it in the LLC name first?
Because I'm financing it.
Oh, you're financing it with the FHA loan or?
No, a regular conventional loan, because my LLC is not, doesn't have business credit established yet. And it was just, this came up so quick that I needed to go the first way I can get it handled.
It doesn't. Yeah, when you buying real estate, your LLC can be 1 day old. It's you. It's the person that's buying that needs to have the experience.
Okay, so I need to talk to my lender because I think she told me to go ahead and put it in my name. And I'm not sure if it was dealing with what kind of paperwork they would need. Because literally, I just wrote the offer this past week, got accepted, and I'm closing on the 22nd.
So, so it sounds like it's a government-backed loan then. That's probably why she told you to put it in your personal name, your lender.
Okay.
Right.
It's a conventional loan, right? You said?
I understand it to be a conventional loan, so, but I'll double check with her because that may be just something I'm not aware of because I prefer to have it in my LLC name.
Yeah, talk to her about it. You should be able to put it in your LLC if it's not a government-backed loan.
Okay.
I know usually dealing with banks, they want you to put it in your personal name unless it's a commercial loan.
Right.
Okay, it is not a commercial loan.
Yeah, so that'd be that's usually how it goes here, at least for what I know. From what I know, the banks want you to put it in your personal name, unless but I do know that some people have did a quick claim deed and quick claimed it over to their LLC.
Yeah, that's what she's that's what she wants to do. Quick claim it to her LLC, but I was just asking why didn't she get it in her LLC name? And it depends on whether it's backed by government. Like if she what bank did you go to? Yeah.
You know what? I don't even know who I'm getting it financed. If it's like my last one, it's probably is it UHM or UHW? One of those three initials.
Okay, I'm not familiar with them.
United Wholesale Mortgage, UMW. United Wholesale,
United Wholesale Mortgage. Okay.
UW, something like that.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So that's your regular traditional bank then, right?
Correct. Well, it's not in the bank; it's the mortgage company. Yeah.
So that's why they want it in the personal name. But yeah, so if that's the case, then you just let your title company know that you want to quit claim deed it into your LLC as soon as it's closed, as soon as you close on it, and they'll take care of it.
All right, so I'll have that conversation with them tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Thanks for your question.
And then last question, I promise. Okay. And this is for anyone. For fix and flips, because the company I used to work with years ago, I can't find the guy anymore, but for fix and flips, what kind of insurance are you guys using? Or do you guys have any contacts for insurance companies that will work best for fix and flips?
So you're talking about risk builders insurance?
Yeah, just because anything that happens on the property while it's getting fixed. Yeah.
So
I did one. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. The only one I could remember is Protect. I think it's called Protect. Go ahead, Antonio. I have to look it up. I can't remember the name of it.
I was gonna say I did one earlier. That was this year or last year? Last year, and they gave me it was a renovation policy. That's what they called it. So they just asked for a renovation policy. because it's vacant or vacant policy. One of the two. I forgot what the term was.
Oh,
And it might be vacant. A vacant policy.
but we're talking about
Huh?
fix and flip, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's called builder's risk insurance.
Oh, I could have sworn. So you saying like you buy a property, fix it up, and then sell it, right?
Well, while you're and correct me if I'm wrong, if this is what you're talking about, Michelle, she's purchasing something and she's going to be rehabbing it. During the rehab time, you're supposed to have builder's risk insurance on it. The lender is going to require that. The non-traditional lenders, that's what they require.
I could have
Well, this is
swore
a traditional lender.
Yeah, well, that's the same kind of lender I had too on mine. I thought it was something else, but that's fine. I would just ask around and like different insurance brokers, because I'm sure they all have that product, or at least most of them will have access to that kind of product.
Yeah, because I just want to make sure that if something happens, it's in Florida, so it's hurricanes, all kind of crazy stuff that happens. I just want to make sure I'm protected.
And the lender's gonna make sure you're protected too. They're gonna tell you what kind of insurance, how much coverage they want you to have on it.
Well, I've already, they just I have to they're just talking about regular insurance, which is not a problem, but I wanted something more specific to fixing and flipping just in case something happens.
Okay.
Hold up. Let me backtrack real quick. So you're saying they're just telling you need a regular insurance policy?
Yeah, just regular insurance.
Yeah. That doesn't even sound right. If you're flipping it or fixing it up, renovation, it seems like they would want to protect themselves by getting something a little better, like what you're asking about right now. You may want to ask them that. Do they know you're fixing it up?
The broker I'm working with knows that, because I started off the conversation. This is a fix and flip, because she asked me how long I plan on holding it. I said about 90 days just to cover the FHA, any FHA buyers that come along.
Yeah, you may want to double check, just have that conversation again with them, just to make sure, because they would want to protect their collateral by making sure you get that insurance, not just your regular insurance, the other one.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't hurt to revisit that conversation.
Will do.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, for dealing with wholesalers, one thing I like to do is ask for the original contract, because they're assigning you a contract. So you can say, look, blank out the pertinent information or the sensitive information, but I need to know what contract that you signed, because I'm going to basically by signing the signing contract, you're basically agreeing to all those terms. So that's one thing I like to do when I'm buying from a wholesaler.
Yeah, that's a good one. I always present that, but some people don't, so that's good. Yep.
So now you just open the door for something else. I'm sorry. I hope not. So Tracy, let me ask you this question, because someone just asked me this the other day. If someone is buying a house, can they still assume somebody's mortgage and pay them the difference on the side? So if they, for example, somebody who may have had a mortgage of 2.9% from 2 years ago, if that's an assumable mortgage, what's that process look like?
So they could do one or two things. They could either assume, or they can do like a subject to on that property, a subject to where it will be subject to the existing mortgage, and you leave it in place, and they would deed the title into your name and keep the mortgage in their name, or you can go the other route and assume the loan. And I think Antonio had some information on assuming loans. Is this a FHA, or what type of loan is it?
I think she told me it was a conventional. Yeah, it's not for me. It's actually for someone else. I think she told me it was a conventional loan that she wanted to know if she can assume it, because their interest rate is like I think she said like 2.8, 2.9.
Okay.
And then she's going to cash out her 401k to pay the difference. So let's say hypothetically, the house is selling for $300,000, but the mortgage is only $175,000. She wants to assume the $175,000 and then pay the difference to the. So she's trying to keep the interest rate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, so Antonio just answered and said they can, if it's FHA and VA loan, they could, but they have to apply. Yeah, like they have to actually apply for it and, you know, meet whatever the requirements are and get the
Okay.
approval for it. Yep,
I'll let her know that. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. So, any other questions? Looking
Thanks
at
for your
Avery's
questions.
question. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying to Michelle, thanks for your questions.
Oh yeah, those are good questions. Just following up on Avery's question, I see Antonio, you already answered it, but let's see, let me go back to it. There we go. When looking at a property for investment, do you recommend doing an inspection or having the contractor come and look at it before submitting an offer, especially since it's been on the market for over 60 days? So like Antonio said, you don't have the right to inspect the property unless you're under contract. But if it is on the MLS, you know, and if they're doing like, if you can schedule a showing, I know at least in Michigan, you can schedule a showing and then say, I'm gonna come back with an inspector and say, this is a second showing or a second showing. I'm just coming back through and, you know, have your inspector go through or your contractor go through and give you a quote for it. You could do that. But if you're doing like a wholesale deal, typically the wholesalers are not gonna let you come back with a contractor. They're gonna want you to sign a purchase agreement and agree to a price. And then, you know, in that purchase agreement, you're gonna say, you know, you have a right to do a personal inspection, and then you can do then come back with a contractor, but only if by that time you sign that purchase agreement, though, you have to say that you have to know exactly what you're expecting. So I wouldn't sign that purchase agreement unless you know for sure or have a pretty good idea of what the work is needed. And then yeah, for sheriff sales, Quentin followed up about sheriff sales. Usually for sheriff sales, that really probably depends on the state, because in Michigan, some of the properties are not even locked anyway, so you can just go in the property and take a look around. You know, it's dangerous. I wouldn't recommend it. I've done it before though. And also some of the other properties may have tenants in it. So you're not always going to be able to do an inspection on a sheriff's sale, right? So that's kind of some of the risk you're assuming. So a lot of the stuff you have to assume, like, this is how much risk I'm assuming. Like, I'm gonna assume that I gotta go in and paint walls, or, you know, if you do looking at the roof and looking outside, you can kind of tell like, okay, I need a new roof on this. The foundation was good, and I'm gonna assume maybe I gotta go in and paint walls, possibly maybe put in a new kitchen. So I'm assuming that it's gonna cost me maybe 20 grand. So this is how much I'm willing to bid, you know. So you kind of gotta assume some of your risk when you're doing sheriff sales and tax lien sales.
Michelle had a question about, in Florida, you have 15 days to cancel. It depends on what your contract says, Michelle. You can put in there how many days you want for inspection. The clause. Usually they want to limit it to 15, but yeah, that's between you and the seller, how many days.
Okay, that was a comment.
Yeah.
Statement.
Oh.
All right, and then also Jay Nicole asked about the compliance fee here in Detroit. So the compliance fee is usually paid by the buyer in Detroit, but again, that could be determined by the, you know, purchase agreement too. So if it's not outlined in the purchase agreement, usually it's the buyer that pays the compliance fee in Detroit. Also, there was a question about closing costs. Maybe it was in the group. I want to say it was in the Telegram group. But again, if it's not outlined in the contract, who in the purchase agreement, who's going to pay for the closing costs, it's usually just split down the middle, at least here in Michigan. And that. Oh, Blessed. I'm sorry, I don't know if Blessed said she is also a private lender working with Jamal's company, so you can reach out to her. She put her information in the chat as well. All right. I think that's it. If there's no more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and end the call. Let somebody had a comment or something.
Hold
I missed it all.
Unmute, Blessed.
Oh, my bad. Oh, I see some hands. Let's see. There we go. All right, Bless, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm a guy. I'm not a girl.
Oh, sorry about that, man. Sorry.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, and it's actually blessed, but you know, in writing, you can't really tell. Yeah.
Sorry about that, Blessing. I'm gonna say, yeah, if you want to, you go ahead introduce yourself, you know.
Yeah, I'm actually a broker for Broken Funding Group with Jamal. I actually just started, but he's been doing it for a while now. But I just started, you know, looking to learn the game from him. You know, just following him, see what he does. But we do the same thing. We also lend out money and just essentially like the rest of the private lenders.
Thanks for coming. So blessed, right?
Yeah. Blessed, yeah.
So sorry about that, everybody.
It's all good, yeah.
Yeah. Reach out to my man's Blessed. My man's girl, man. Then,
Have we already answered Quentin? Has Quentin asked a question?
I was just about to, I think I just unmuted you, Quentin. Yep. There you go.
Yes, I'm here. You hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. Question was, so I was trying to get like a lot of sheriff sales and what are like a lot of the cons. I understand all the pros, but I don't really see like any of the cons of a sheriff sale. Can you like, you know, explain to everyone like what are some of the cons of a sheriff sale? Because that's really probably how I'm gonna buy my first property. So I want to make sure that I, you know, don't go anything. Let.
Okay, I'm about to. I didn't know if you had anything else to say, but I'm on some of the cons. The big con of sheriff sales is managing risk, right? It's a lot that you don't know going into a sheriff sale, right? Depending on the property, right? Because if you can't get in the property, you can't see, you don't know what's going on inside the property. So you have to make some assumptions, right? So you can if you can access the property and go in, you already know exactly what you're getting into. But if you can't access the property, then you have to assume, like I said earlier, you may have to assume like, okay, I'm assuming it's need paint, it's gonna need a kitchen, and maybe I need to do some flooring or stuff, right? And you can make that assumption, but what you may not realize is it's gonna need all new electrical and all new mechanicals, right? So it's a lot of assumptions you have to make for sheriff sales. Like you can get a property for cheap, and sometimes the properties you get for so cheap that it's like whatever I have to do, I'll do it. I'm going to make my money, right? So there are properties like that, but that's the biggest con. Like it's hard to risk management. It's hard to do risk management with sheriff sales. I'm about to say that's the biggest thing.
Another thing, if you don't mind me adding, brother.
Oh yeah.
Just make sure your cash is right. the sheriff, they don't play. I'm waiting for my lender game. It's you got it, you close within the time frame they want you to close, or you lose your deposit.
Yep, exactly. I know at Detroit, they say you have to have, not only Detroit, they do it at Wayne County, Oakland County, and Macomb County. Whatever the bid is, you have to have that money, right? So you take, you bring whatever the bid money is, and then you have like a day or two, if that, to get whatever it overbid went, whatever it, the overbid is. So it's like if the starting bid was 10 grand and it went all the way up to 20 grand, you need 10 grand that day, right then and there. And then you need to get that next 10 grand to them within a certain amount of time. So it's, like Harold said, like Coach said, you ain't got time to play around. They need their money now. And then also, you don't know, another thing I forgot to mention too is liens. You got to make sure and do your title work on that house and make sure any liens on that property is either forgivable, or hopefully it doesn't have any liens, right? The only lien against it is whatever mortgage or whatever reason the foreclosure is in the sheriff sale in the first place. Hopefully that's the only thing. But yeah. Anything else? Anybody else have any comments or questions about sheriff sales? If not, I'm gonna go to Avery. Oh, hold on, Avery.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm gonna come back to you quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna go there. Yeah.
You say you coming back to me?
No, you go ahead. I'm gonna come back.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. I just got a quick question. So when you put in an offer on a property and the seller, you guys can't really come to an agreement, then you finally come to an agreement, and then you go see the property, you get your inspection done, and it's like a lot of stuff done. And so you come back with a less offer. Like the last time I did it, my realtor kind of frowned upon it. Like, it's okay to do that, all right? Like, it's okay to come back with a lower offer than you originally agreed upon with the seller when you mark off the MLS.
It's nothing to say that you can't do that, but people don't like you doing that. They want you, if you come with an offer, they want you to be real about your offer, because some people use that as a tactic. They'll say, okay, yeah, I'll give you what you're asking for, 200,000, knowing good and well that once they come out there and look at it, they're gonna offer a different number. So, just have good intentions.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks.
So just to make sure I understand too, you said you agreed on the price, you signed the purchase agreement, you went through the inspection, and then you came back with a lower offer.
Yeah, because the inspection came back really bad, like way more than I was anticipating. Even after I saw the property, like I saw the property, I was like, okay, cool, let's get it inspected. We got it inspected, and it was like a laundry list of stuff that needed to be done. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go, I think it was like, I was going for like 65, I think it's something like that. I can't remember. But my realtor was like, I don't know about that.
What was the original offer?
So the original price was I think it was like 90, and it was like 80, and I offer like 70. And they agreed upon 70,000 for the property. And then then after that I went and got it inspected. So when I went back to my realtor to tell her I can do 70 because it needed a lot of work.
Now let me ask you
frowned
this.
upon me doing that. Yeah.
Was it purchased as is? Was it like advertised as that?
I can't remember, but it was on the market for like over 300 days.
Okay. No. The only reason I asked you that because there's different scenarios, right? If it's marketed as is, if you offer a number because you already know it's as is, and if you came back with something lower, that would be frowned upon, right? But if it was a normal sale and then you found something, say, hey, are you gonna fix this? And if you're not gonna fix this, either I gotta offer a little less, or if I'm getting a loan, I might ask for a credit inside, you know what I'm saying, from the seller. So if you're buying cash, a credit doesn't matter to you because it's the same thing. But if you're getting a loan, so if I agree to 70, but you say, yo, at the closing, I'll give you a $5,000 credit, that's actually beneficial to you, to be frank, rather than them lowering the purchase price.
Okay, I got you. So if it's as is, then my first offer need to be solid and like
correct. It has to be for what it is,
even if
as
it's
is.
a low ball offer. Okay.
Yeah, it gotta be because it's as is, right? Because they're not fixing anything, they're not gonna change anything. You could do 20 inspections, they still ain't gonna give you a dime because they're like, yo, if you want the house, this is how I'm selling it. Period. End of story. You know what I mean? So those are the things you got to take into consideration. But if it's just a normal house on the MLS and they didn't state that within the description, that's a little different. But if it was sitting for 300 days, I'm pretty sure it was as is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
By the way, y'all, and I apologize I was late. This is Harold Valestin, Coach, aka Coach V. So for those who don't know who I am, as it is, I think I just put my contact in the chat if you ever want to ask some questions, anything like that.
All right, Coach, we got you.
I appreciate you.
All right. I'm sorry, you guys. I had one last question. So back on the Sharrall property, how do I one, find out the tax lien details and find out the property price, like the property appraisal price for that property?
That goes back to what I was talking about, knowing the value of your market, right? So the best way to do it is to go with, to get an idea of the area is to go with a realtor. They'll give you a market analysis. If you want the absolute, for sure, you need to go with an appraiser. So you can pay for an appraiser to, that's the thing though. You can pay for an appraiser to appraise a house, but they will need to get inside the house. And if they can't get inside the house, you probably get they'll probably just give you a market analysis. But banks go to appraisers to get the actual price of the home. So that's going to be your highest probability, or your best chance of getting the actual price of what a home is going to appraise for is by going to an appraiser. As far as liens, you want to go through you gotta follow the chain of title, what's called the chain of title. And basically the chain of title is from buyer to seller. You following that title and making sure that the title, the chain is continuous, for lack of a better explanation. But you want to see which seller had any mortgages, and make sure all those mortgages were paid off when the next buyer bought it, and so on, so forth and so forth. So really, realtors, they have access to that information, but that's something like a title company does, and they look into. Now, like I said, I have access to that information, so I just look it up myself. But I don't know if you could just reach out to a title company. I never tried that before.
You can, yeah, you can. So in most states, I can't speak for every, like I know some states a little bit different, like Illinois, but most states, the title company typically represents the buyer anyway. So you can go to them directly and say, hey, I'm willing to pay for this to get a title. I always tell everybody, I don't care if you buy cash or you buy a loan, like with a mortgage, they're always going to make you get title insurance. But if you buy cash, make the additional investment to buy title insurance. You never want a situation where you bought a house and then you get a phone, you get a knock at the door like, yo, this is my house. Or, somebody's child says, yo, I had a right to this house and it was sold without my permission. And then there's a whole, situation where you don't want to get into. So I always suggest make the additional investment, add that to your costs to buy, whether you buy cash or you buy, again, with a lender, they're going to make you get title insurance, but as a cash buyer, make sure you get title insurance.
Yep. So, and that's something I didn't mention in my presentation. Yeah, title insurance is definitely, like Coach said, it's something you should definitely get. Yep. So I got title insurance on all my properties except for the one I got off the tax lien. But they supposed to, when you get a tax lien, they're supposed to clear. It's supposed to come free and clear, right? They clear all that. It's washed. I forget the technical term. I looked it up recently, but it's supposed to be washed of it, all of the liens once it goes through the tax lien. But let's see. But did you understand when I was talking about chain of title?
Yes, I completely understand. You guys said contact the title company, or you can, contact the title company, because if I'm buying it through a sheriff's sale, there isn't a seller to contact. It would be contacting a title company. So would it just be any title company locally?
Yeah, the local title company. So yeah, if ideally, I don't know where this information is, but if you can find the most recent title company that did that sale, that's gonna be your best bet. They're gonna have all the information because they're gonna have it on file. They can just pull everything up, and it's gonna save them a lot of work, which could save you some money. But you know, you could go to any title company. They'll have to do the same thing. They have to search it. But if you go to the title company that actually was involved in the sale, they should already have the workers on file.
Got it. Got it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jamal.
Yep, no problem. And then mechanics lien and other liens. Yep. So I don't know how mechanics liens show up. Are those usually recorded with the?
Yes.
They are.
Yes, they are. Yep.
I haven't come across any mechanics liens in my search. But okay. So
yeah, I had a mechanics lien on one of my properties, the new construction one. The GC had purchased some material, and he put I guess because he put the name of the my business and the address, and he didn't pay them, so they put even though he was supposed to pay them, they put a lien on it, and I didn't know it until we went. Of course, you don't know until you go to refinance, and it was found. The title company found it. So yeah, it's definitely recorded.
Okay. Yep. So and then anybody who doesn't know what a mechanics lien is, just like Tracy said, that's if a contractor does work for your property, they can take a lien out against your property, record it with the state, and if they don't get paid, they can cloud your title. So that's basically when like Tracy was saying, when she went to get refinanced, they said, wait, somebody has some type of claim to your title, so I can't refinance you. We gotta clear this up before you can get refinanced. So,
and it wasn't the contractor that done it. It was a vendor that he was supposed to pay.
Oh, okay, got you. So it was a vendor.
Yep. And I didn't know they could do that. I mean, I wasn't the one that signed anything with that vendor. He did. So
that's the reason why I like going with general contractors, because it's like I just
he was the general contractor. He was the general contractor.
Wait, the general contractor was the vendor too?
No, the general contractor, he has to go out and buy material for the house, right? To build the house. Right. He went to a lumber place, and he charged the lumber and put the address of the house and our LLC name. Wow. And he never paid them. And now they never got, I don't know if they got paid by him or not, but I got a lawyer to send them a letter to tell them they had to remove it, because I wasn't the one that owed them. The GC owed them.
Right, exactly. Don't put that. I didn't. That's between y'all. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
My contract is with the GC. Your contract is with the GC.
Yep.
We are mutually exclusive.
Exactly. Yeah, but somebody just put a really good comment in there about making sure that you get waivers. In my contract, it has the waiver attached that the GC has to waive, putting any liens on the property, and he's responsible for the subcontractor. So,
okay.
So what's the beautiful thing there? All my lenders make all the contractors sign a lien waiver before they give me the draw.
Yeah, and I think that's new. I think that's a new thing. I keep hearing that now. I never had a lender do that, but that's good that they do that now.
Oh yeah, they make them sign off. Yep, I got the money, I got paid, yada yada yada. So that way you can never come back on some nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Which is another reason. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just saying that's good. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, which is another good reason to actually go with a private investor, to partner with a private investor to get jobs done, because now you're getting all this experience from Tracy and Coach, that you say, look, I need some money. Even if you don't need some money, look, I want to, get the experience on how to go about this. All this stuff they're going through, they're going to make sure that when they loan it out to you, that all this paperwork is going to be signed by whoever works on your project too. So that's a benefit of going with a private investor too, is like, it actually works in your favor because you're getting all their experience because they don't want to lose their money.
Yeah. It's true.
You damn Skippy.
All right.
Yeah, and just so folks know, I know Tracy, I think you do something similar like I do. We do partner with newer investors so as two things. One, we all make money together. Two, you get the benefit of our track record, so it's cheaper for you with a lender.
Yeah.
And then three, you kind of learn at the same time versus trying to figure it out and get burnt. And you can, learn from the experiences that we had to, scrape our knees, bump our heads, all that fun stuff when we started. And you get the benefit of that. So, these are conversations you can have with us offline to discuss those type of opportunities and options. But just as, because I get people who call me all the time, like, yo, how do I start? And then they get mad when they talk to a hard money lender, and hard money lender will charge them 25% down or 30% down because they have no experience. I'm like, well, they base it on risk, right? What's the likelihood of you finishing this project? So they rather put the risk on you, more on you than on them.
Yeah.
FYI, this is something to think about.
That's the cheat code.
Listen, that's how I got in.
Yeah. Yep.
I say even listening to the New Jersey realtor, the New Jersey investor that be with DJ Envy. I forget.
Caesar.
Yeah, it is Caesar. I was thinking Caesar. So he was saying the same thing, that it costs him a lot more money up front. When he started, till now he does stuff he gets loans for free because it's a guaranteed investment. Like he got 300 units or something like that.
Oh, he's in the four figures now.
I thought he was in the four figures. I was like, dang, that seemed for so far.
No, he just won the contract for 800 in Chicago. So
okay.
Yeah, he a big boy. He a big boy.
Definitely. Pay to play, right? Because even
so let me explain something to you folks. The more consistent you are at paying money back, the happier people are to lend you money. Like they literally will run at you because they know there's not that many people. There's about 20% of us who can get the deal done. I'm being 100% honest with you guys, right? So they're like, all right, I'd rather give the money to this 20% that's gonna always give me my money back, no matter what, than take a chance on somebody who may not give me my money back. So once you start closing deals and they know that you're consistent and you're an operator, they literally will come knocking at your door offering you all kind of stuff. It's like a credit card, right? You paid on time, you keep it, the balance is low, this and the other. All of a sudden, your credit limit goes from 10,000 to 100,000 in a year or two because of that. Because they know that this person's responsible with the money. So it's the same way in the lending game for real estate. The more you can close and pay people back, and you can show a track record of paying people back, people will throw money at you. But you got to start somewhere, and usually, best way to start is with somebody who already has that track record. Just a word, word to the wise.
Michelle said the same thing with mortgage brokers. Relationships, positive results go a long way. All right, everybody. I think that's about it. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Again, we do this every Tuesday. I think next week, Tracy, you're up, right?
No, it's not me.
Oh, all right. Well,
is it about multifamily?
Oh, are we doing the multifamily one next week? Here, let me pull it up. Sorry, guys. I don't know if you guys know anybody or if you're like this, but I have like 30 windows up.
That's me.
I'm always searching.
Only 30? Oh, you a lightweight.
Each one of those windows have like 10 tabs.
Yeah, my computer be screaming at me sometimes.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I feel like I'm another computer. Work off two. But while this is loading to see what's going on for our next meeting, again, I want to thank you all for coming out. Appreciate it. Again, if you have anything you want to look into or know anybody who wants to talk or speak, please let us know. We are looking to learn from each other, teach you what we know, and also learn from you guys. Let's see, we got Crystal. I purchased a vacant property from a relative that required way more work than I expected. You determine if I should get a rehab loan fixed over next day or if I fix the foundation and sell it. Use your tips. All right, great. Yeah. Glad we can help, Crystal. But yeah, and if you're not on the Telegram, please join the Telegram. That's where we get we're gonna get all the information for our next meetings, and a lot of people post questions and answer questions and stuff like that in there. And with all that being said, thank you and good
Y'all
night.
make sure y'all come back and see us next Tuesday.
Yes, definitely. Yep. Make sure y'all come back to see us next Tuesday. And anybody else have anything else to add?
As they would say, come back, you're here.
Right, exactly. And bring a friend.
And bring a friend or two.
Each one teach one. All right. Talk to y'all later. See y'all next week.
All right, y'all have a good night.